Mr. Schumer, the gentleman from New York.
I thank you for holding this hearing today. And let me say at the outset, I want to express my full confidence in the Attorney General. In my opinion, President Clinton has put an absolutely outstanding person in this difficult job. She's tough, intelligent, and possesses an integrity and forthrightness that is refreshing in Washington. Now, I'm sure that under her leadership, the Justice Department's internal review will produce a complete and thorough report on this entire episode, including a full accounting of any mistakes that may have been made when all the evidence is in. And that's because we're dealing with a new breed of Attorney General, one who's candid about facts and matter of fact about taking responsibility. There may well have been errors in judgment in Waco, but we should keep in mind that mistakes in outcome are not always the results of mistakes in judgment. Personally, I'd rather have Janet Reno making these judgments than just about anybody else. We would also do well to remember that we're looking at the actions of law enforcement personnel motivated by a genuine desire to follow the rule of law. We're not dealing with a corrupt or dishonest government agency. We're not dealing with acts of venality or cover-up, as in so many other scandals we have seen. And so I strongly hope we'll keep all this in mind while pursuing our legitimate search to find out what went wrong. To me, there are two key questions we need to explore in order to understand what went wrong. First, why was the element of surprise lost in the initial raid by BATF? If it was, did BATF leadership know that? And if they knew it, what was the process that resulted in going ahead with the raid anyway? Second, what was it that led FBI officials to make the judgment that David Koresh would not destroy himself and his followers when faced with ultimate capture by law enforcement? Now, as we look at these issues and other issues surrounding the tactical and strategic decisions in the matter, I believe it's also important not to lose sight of the fact that the real villain here was David Koresh. He and his followers' desire and willingness to use children as hostages and to ultimately sacrifice them in a ferocious act of self-immolation surely must go down as one of history's most heinous crimes. If our ultimate goal is to avoid future Waco disasters from taking innocent lives, we also have to take a close look at how David Koresh was able to amass one of the largest and most deadly arsenals ever faced by U.S. law enforcement. We need to take a rational look at all the guns involved. More than 10,000 rounds were fired at the BATF agents on February 28th as they attempted to serve legal arrest and search warrants at the Waco compound. This committee will hear today about how Koresh was able to arm his followers with more than 100 fully automatic machine guns, grenades, and other materials such as explosives and bomb components. This is an area where change is surely needed, because once David Koresh had established himself in that compound, surrounded by children and emotionally captive adults, and with that arsenal, he really held all the cards. Can anyone doubt we would be looking at a different outcome had the Branch Davidians been armed only with knives, ordinary hunting rifles, or other sporting weapons? Koresh was determined not to be taken alive, and if necessary, to take every one of his followers and as many federal agents as possible with him. As we have seen graphically, because of weaknesses and loopholes in existing law and his own criminal intent, he had the abundant means to do so. I'll shortly be introducing legislation to address part of the problem by banning the sale of machine gun parts that can be used to convert legal firearms to machine guns unless the purchaser is a legal machine gun owner, and to ban the sale of such parts by mail in all cases. David Koresh used this weakness in the law to amass parts and convert legal weapons to the deadly, fully automatic machine guns he fired. This legislation will also prohibit the sale of large caliber ammunition to all but law enforcement and military agencies. The .50 caliber ammunition possessed by Koresh, which although perfectly legal, can easily blow through an ordinary vehicle like a fire truck, has no legitimate purpose in the hands of anyone. Mr. Chairman, I know that this hearing is not specifically about guns. It's about accountability and responsibility. But I also believe if we're going to get beyond the tactical issues involved, We must adopt a strategy that recognizes the role played by guns and the excessive firepower so easily available to a madman. I look forward to hearing our witnesses.
Would the gentleman yield for a moment? Will the gentleman yield?
His opening statement. We want to go to Mr. Sensenbrenner.
Mr. Schumer to yield to me.
Not at this point, no. Mr. Sensenbrenner, the gentleman from